Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric and our continuing series on the Sega Dreamcast, and this week we're going to be taking a look at a Sega NAOMI game, because the NAOMI was just a more powerful Dreamcast, and it is Jambo Safari. It is an absolutely absurd game, something that I've never experienced before, and probably won't experience too much like it afterwards. Before we get too far in logic, you do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like, subscribe, and that notification bell definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined, we got a Patreon link down there as well if you want to support the channel. As we get into it here, we have 4 different hunters to select, and I am pretty sure this guy here is Cheetah from The Good Place because he looks identical. Someone should send this to the actor and say, were you in Jambo Safari? But this game is very odd, but really fun. Your entire goal is to drive a Jeep and to catch safari animals. It's as simple as that. Now I will say right off the top that I am emulating this. I'm not playing it on my NAOMI that I showed in the intro, and that is because the control system for this game is wild. You have a brake pedal, you have a gas pedal, you have a steering wheel, and you have a shifter that basically controls your lasso. So actually getting this set up in the home, I can do it, and I could modify controls, but it would just be one of those gigantic epic projects. But the great thing is NAOMI emulates really well on Demule or Demule, never sure how to pronounce it, and it is a great experience. You'll see here though that we have lassoed our first animal, and it's giving us little hints. But basically, it's a driving racing game with some manual lasso controls. When you get an animal on that rope, you basically have to use your brakes and use your shifter to put stress on that rope until the animal gets tired, and then you can finally get close enough to throw the net to capture them. It probably plays the closest to something like Sega Bass Fishing because it is a very fishing-like mechanic in which you don't want to stress the line too much or else it might snap, and the same thing can happen in Jambo Safari. The reason I wanted to talk about this is that so many of the NAOMI games are either ported to Dreamcast or ported to different systems, or they really aren't, to me, that amazing to talk about. But Jambo Safari is just another one of those Sega games that is absolutely absurd. And I love when you catch an animal that Zebra now lets us pet it. Like getting them in a net absolutely 100% makes them tame. And I kind of wish that what it was like in real life. If I could just get an ostrich in a net and make him my pet, that would be a great experience. But that's just really not how it works. But to see in the top right, we have a timer, and you do have a certain amount of time to capture 3 animals. If you don't get all 3 animals, you have to restart. And if you do get all 3, you're going to go to a bonus round where you're going to have to catch something a lot harder and larger as compared to an ostrich. But we've gotten our ostrich, and he's actually not friendly, so apparently they don't all become your friends when you catch them. But you'll see here, the 3 animals we caught, we got a C, and we're going on to the final training challenge, which is catching a cheetah. I mean, I've never caught a cheetah in real life. I don't know if they're harder than an ostrich, but these levels are much more difficult than the primary ones. You really have to be great with that lasso, because the minute you throw it, they love to zag left and right and kind of juke you out completely. Getting them on the rope is the hardest part. Once you get them on the rope, it doesn't become as challenging to actually catch them, but you only have a finite time limit. You'll see this cheetah here is just faster than me and can turn quicker than me. But I do catch him with just enough time left on the clock to make an attempt. You'll see there that that rope is getting stressed out and our timer is running down, unfortunately. This game seems super simple, but it's actually really challenging. To be able to get all the different animals at the same time can be quite hard, but it becomes addicting. It makes you want to instantaneously try the game all over again. What I'll let you do now, after we get through this little sequence, is just listen to the game. The music's fun, the sound effects are great. I'll give you about a minute of Jambo Safari without me talking, and boy, that woman's portrait, that is not a good design. Something looks wrong with her. But enjoy Jambo Safari, and I'll be back in like 45 seconds to a minute to tell you more about why I included this in the first place. You'll see there I actually got a little bit too close to what I was trying to catch. I think it's a gazelle, we'll find out shortly, and that can become a little bit of an issue. You need to maintain a certain amount of distance to be able to throw that lasso without making it too challenging on yourself. And that's the thing about this game, is it looks deceptively simple when you're playing it. Just drive close to an animal, target them, push a button, make them tired, push another button. But the way the animals move are all different, and you're going to see that's where there's different stars when you catch them. And you'll even get that little animation that the animal's tired, which makes it easier to capture them. But a zebra is going to move completely different compared to a gazelle, which is going to move different compared to an antelope, and I'm sure that is the same in real life. But again, here's our old friend the cheetah, and let's see how we do this time. And that's the fun part about this game, and Sega in general, is that I don't know where they came up with the idea for Jambo Safari. Somebody was sitting in a room trying to come up with new games, and they said, well, how about we do a driving game that also seems like Sega Bass Challenge, that also almost has the feel of like a targeted light gun game. I don't know where these ideas come from, but I'm so glad that they exist, because Sega was really the ones that gave us all of these strange kind of esoteric games. And we see there, we finally got our cheetah. As you learn how the animals move more, you're going to get better at being able to capture them. And he was a 4-star cheetah. 5 is the top that you can get, but it's still a really challenging animal. And I'm not sure what the story sequences say. I played the Japanese ROM version. I don't really think it matters whatsoever what story you're getting. But again, this is just Sega at their weird and best, and that's what I love about this game. And you'll see, at some point in time, you can try to capture what looks to be a dinosaur. Now, I've never actually made that happen in the game. I've gotten a lot of bigger animals, but the dinosaur has just never appeared, so there must be some special sequence of events that you need to do, some high score to be able to challenge that cheetah. But there are a lot of other bigger animals. Now that we move over to expert mode, you'll see that zebra has a crown on it. He's, you know, the king of the Serengeti, for lack of a better term. And there's different rankings. We get a high level zebra, we get a lot more time bonus and a lot more score. And that's kind of the thing. This is a score attack game like any arcade game is. Getting the highest score means you're doing the best. But you'll see there, I almost had that gazelle in the net, but he moved it just the last second. And you really want to give him a wide open space to run, because if you get too close to the edge of something, they're going to turn. And you have to drive while also steering that lasso. But now that we've gotten past that initial area, now we're going for our friend the Rhino, and I think I'm going to target the king there. Let's see what we do, because it's been a few weeks since I did play this. But that's just the fun part about Jambo Safari, and the Naomi has a lot of games that never came to Dreamcast. As I explained in the initial video, the Sega NAOMI is just a more powerful Dreamcast with more RAM, and it looks like Dreamcast, it plays like Dreamcast, and I wish they came to Dreamcast. And we've now captured him, and we're riding him. I guess that's just how it works. And you'll see, now that we've got that Rhino in the net, we're moving on to the Saber-Tooth Tiger, which is the hardest enemy I've ever found in Jambo Safari, and I will say that I have never once successfully caught him. But this game does exist on the Wii. It is a lot different than what you're looking at. You can check it out if you want to, but I recommend, if you're going to play one version, just play Jambo Safari for the Naomi if you can. And this game was scheduled to come out on Dreamcast, and it got canceled. I can almost imagine playing with the fishing controller for Sega Bass Fishing. I think that would have been a great time. But short of that, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Love chatting with you guys. I will be back next Tuesday with another episode in our Dreamcast series, and I'll have videos on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday as well. And you'll see that Saber-Tooth Tiger is just bashing me, and I never even really get a chance to throw the lasso at him. It is that difficult. But thanks so much for watching, guys. We hope you enjoyed seeing some of the stranger games that Naomi has to offer, and we'll be back next week. Bye-bye.